the box. You opened it.
And I am leaving. Some sad news today, guys. Hellraiser is leaving Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight just announced that the Hellraiser chapter featuring the iconic Cenobite or Pinhead will no longer be available for purchase after April the 4th of 2025. That means if you haven't bought Pinhead or any of the cosmetics that go along with it, you're gonna need to do that before April 4th or else you won't have an opportunity to do this ever again. Now, the only good side to this, if you already own the content, you won't lose it whatsoever. Just like when Stranger Things left the game, anyone who already has the Cenobite skins, you'll keep them forever. But if you don't buy it in time, you won't be able to get it ever again. At least not unless some kind of licensing deals happens in the future, which seems pretty unlikely. This announcement didn't exactly come to a shock as anybody. It wasn't really out of nowhere. The community has kind of been speculating that something like this was happening. There was a huge sale on the Hellraiser content itself, and licensor bundle deal raised some eyebrows. It just didn't seem normal, and now we know why. So let's actually talk about Hellraiser and why it's leaving, what this means for the future of licensed killers in DBD, and whether there's a chance we'll see Pinhead returning. If you've been playing Dead by Daylight for a while, you already know that licensed content doesn't always stay forever. Whether it's Stranger Things, Attack on Titan, or with the Leatherface rumors from a while back, it's clear that the Dead by Daylight licensing deals are temporary. So what's going on with Hellraiser, or any of these licenses, period? Simply put, it's contracts. When Behavior licensed a character for Dead by Daylight, they sign a time-limited contract with the rights holders. That contract can be at least for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or more, but when it expires, both sides have to decide if they want to renew it. If they can't agree to terms, or if it's a side that isn't interested in continuing the deal, the content has to be removed from sale. Now, the Hellraiser situation is a little bit more complicated than a normal license deal. Back in December of 2021, Clive Barker officially reclaimed the rights of Hellraiser franchise. That meant the people who originally licensed Pinhead to Behavior no longer had control over the property. So when the contract expired, Behavior would need to renegotiate directly with Clive Barker in order to keep Pinhead into the game. And it looks like that didn't happen. Whether it was because Barker wasn't interested in keeping the deal alive or Behavior didn't think it was worth it, we don't really know. Realistically speaking, we kinda know who the finger is gonna be pointed at though. One thing that's for certain is that this is the end of Hellraiser in Dead by Daylight, at least for now. This is pretty much exactly what happened with Stranger Things, and it took 2 years for that content to return, and even then, no new content has been added since then, just the same skins and DLCs, packs that were removed before, so we got everything that we already had. So while it's always possible for Hellraiser to return in the future, don't expect any Pinhead skins, reworks, extra content anytime soon. And this makes a lot of sense considering we haven't seen any content from this, and in my interview with Matthew Cote himself, he did mention that, hey, we're probably not going to see any new content for Hellraiser whatsoever. Now, before we dive in deeper into the messy history with Hellraiser and DBD, I want to give a huge shout out to Hex Boon Candles. They actually make some incredible Dead by Daylight inspired candles and wax melts, and I've been actually using them nonstop. Right now I'm burning the Midnight Espresso candle, and let me tell you, it smells really, really amazing. Hex Boon is run by Terrence, a passionate DBD fan who started the company in June of 2024, and they've been dropping some crazy high quality products ever since. If you want to bring that horror aesthetic into your own space or just want some awesome smelling candles, check them out, link in the description. Alright, let's talk about the real chaos behind Hellraiser's time in Dead by Daylight. At the time, the licensing rights for Hellraisers was handled by Boss Protocol and their bigger parent company, Park Avenue Entertainment, and this is where things kinda took a disastrous turn. As Clive Barker was preparing to reclaim the rights of the franchises a few months later, these companies saw it as an opportunity to basically rush out as much things as they can and cash out. Their big plan for everything? NFTs. Now this is where things get really shady. Behavior, as they do with every licensed character, they provided in-game models for the Hellraiser content, since they were the ones who actually developed the DLC. This is just a standard process they do with every licensed chapter. They make the models, they give it out to the original rights holders because they're the rights holders. So what was the problem? As I said, the rights holders. Boss Protocol and Park Avenue Entertainment decided to take those models and basically sell them as NFTs. Not only that, but they plan to bundle it with some DLC codes, which these NFTs were going to give you, essentially turning the game's content into a cash grab. Now, obviously, the community was ferocious when this was discovered, and the backlash was immediate. Behavior had pretty much no involvement in selling these NFTs whatsoever, but because their models was used, they were forced to respond. They had to actually put out a public statement talking about exactly what happened. The worst part is, Park Avenue pretty much forced Behavior's hands into removing Pinhead's voice lines, allegedly, seemingly as part of the last-minute legal dispute. Their plan was then to use the voice lines in the NFTs themselves. So the only way to get the original voice lines back was through purchasing an NFT, which thankfully never actually happened due to the massive amount of backlash from the community, rightfully so. I remember even seeing some of Behavior's own staff having no idea what was happening, which made the situation even more chaotic. People were calling for refunds left and right, social media literally erupted with backlash, and the Hellraiser's DLC was completely overshadowed by the controversy. So in December, when Clive Barker finally regained the rights to Hellraiser, it's really no surprise that this licensing deal was never necessarily renewed. Given how shady Boss Protocol and Park Avenue have been, it's likely Barker wanted nothing to do with that mess, and Behavior probably just wasn't in a good position to renegotiate everything. The whole thing has been a mess, and I can see why this happens. Unfortunately, it sucks for the fans and people that actually care about this DLC and value its time in DBD. But at the end of the day, we can put all the blame on the previous rights holders. They saw DBD as a quick cash grab to essentially milk the franchise for everything it was worth. Behavior ultimately was just simply caught in the middle, and there really wasn't much that they can do. As I said, just 2 months after this DLC was introduced to Dead by Daylight, Clive Barker essentially got the rights back, so it was to no shock, like I said, that this was not renewed. So what exactly happens now? So the Hellraiser chapter is officially going to be leaving Dead by Daylight. As we all know, you can still buy these DLCs and the cosmetics up until April of 2025. If you own any of this content before they go, you keep it forever, similar to Stranger Things stuff. All the Hellraiser perks will become general perks, meaning you can now unlock them from the Blood Web without actually owning Pinhead. No new Hellraiser content is obviously going to be added. So if you're thinking about buying the DLC, now is the time to do it. You have literally just 1 month. It's on sale as well. Remember, we've seen exactly what happened with the Stranger Things DLCs. Those scalpers went absolutely crazy, selling so much of those unused DLC codes for crazy high prices, and we're likely to see the same thing happen with this chapter. Now, obviously, we've seen something pretty similar happen with Attack on Titan, but this isn't just a couple of skins. This is an entire playable character with unique perks, their own mechanics. This is always better to own, so you don't really regret missing out in the future. Well, that's pretty much the update for today, guys. It's always disappointing to see a licensed character leave the game, but at least we know we at least get to keep what we already own. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you drop a like down below and let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Remember, the most important opinion is yours, so I want to hear it down below. In case you guys haven't known, I'm pretty much back to content creation and streaming, but just for a little bit. I got a lot of PC issues. You can see the bad boy isn't even on right now. It's just sitting there idle. I'm using my laptop. Eventually, it's going to be fixed, and the reason it's not fixed right now is because I'm actually going to the Behavior studio. So I need your help getting some questions to ask the developers. I'm going to try to do tons of interviews, vlogs, maybe a Hot Ones kind of interview with Matthew Cote. It's going to be a lot of fun. I would love to hear any of your thoughts, suggestions. Join my Discord, link down below. There's a whole section dedicated to that, and you can just ping me and tell me some of your ideas. It's completely fine. But that's going to do it for me. As always, I'm the king. I tip my crown to you guys, and we'll see you in the fog.